There's a gentleman called Leon who's traveling around the United States on $5 a day.
Please tell us a little bit about the beginnings of your journey in life.
I went to school in London, then I went to college in America, and then I went back and I worked in a family business. And I worked in that business for about 2 years, but I felt a sense of lack of purpose. I felt depressed, and I felt like I had to do something else with my life. I was working behind a slab of wood, which is what I like to call my desk, and I was uninspired. So I found some inspiration when I watched the movie The Motorcycle Diaries, which is about Che Guevara, who travels across South America relying entirely on the kindness of strangers. And I created a television show called Amazing Adventures of a Nobody, where I was going to travel across the world relying entirely on the kindness of strangers. And that's really how I began in this world of entertainment.
When you start making this show, did you really believe that you will make it and actually people will help you?
If I'm honest, I will tell you that I didn't actually believe that it would end up the way it ended up. But there was something inside me, something inside my soul that was pushing me forward and that was saying, Leon, do not give up. Keep going, keep going. And it was amazing because obviously lots and lots of people helped me. Obviously the show was aired all around the world and it really changed my life in so many ways.
Nothing comes free in this world, mate. That's how it goes. Sorry.
Can I crash at your place?
Hell no.
Do people ask questions like that over there, the other side of the pond?
I was followed from the morning until the night, and then at the night I would have to find a place to stay, and the crew would go and live in a hotel, and I would stay with the person who'd helped me. I had $5, that was for food, accommodation and travel, and people couldn't give me money. So you couldn't say, oh, here, Leon, here's $20. People always tried to give me money, but it was not about money, it was about kindness of spirit.
Which was the toughest moment?
Without a shadow of a doubt, the most difficult moments were in the European leg of the journey. Because they couldn't speak English. You know, as the further east that I went, it was much more difficult. And they don't like cameras, and they don't like bald Greek people.
Get the camera out of my face.
If I ever get to Moscow, I am never doing this again, ever. How far is it to Moscow?
To Moscow,
1200,000. Oh my God, I'm finished. So it kind of didn't work out as well as I would have hoped. But I did manage to get to Red Square, so ultimately it worked out well. Can I come with you?
Sure. How hard is it for a Greek parent that has done business to hear his kid saying, you know what, I don't really want to get involved with the business, I want to do my amazing adventures of a nobody?
Fortunately for me, my father had 4 sons. And, you know, one of them not wanting to be involved in the day-to-day running of the business wasn't a catastrophe because, you know, my older brother was at that time, you know, running the show in the business, and he wasn't particularly happy that I left, but it was, you know, there was a cushion because there were more sons there that could do what he wanted them to do.
Travel to Barcelona? Il y a marqué quoi ici?
This is honestly one of the dumbest ideas you've ever had.
Give me your money.
You can tell me where we are, then you're a better man than I.
So after, when he saw the success that your show had, did he change?
They all changed. I mean, you know, they were all very happy for me. They were all very proud of what I achieved. And they could see that I was living my life, you know, from my truth and not living someone else's life. The show ended up being aired internationally on National Geographic. It ended up being aired on Fox in America. We did 3 seasons, England, America, and then Europe, where I traveled from the Eiffel Tower all the way to Red Square in Moscow. So, you know, the show has really been a great success. And then, again, in many ways I've been very fortunate. I got the opportunity to write a book, and I wrote a book about my trip across America.
And then you felt that you needed to give something back to the world, was that right?
I did, and I came up with a concept called the Kindness Cab, which was another crazy idea. I bought a vintage London taxi, 1985, and I drove it from Times Square all the way to the Hollywood sign, giving free cab rides to people, and also raising money for kids to buy books at their schools.
Leon Logothetis with the kindness cab.
I'm going to be driving from Times Square all the way to the Hollywood sign, giving away free cab rides.
You really get to make people happy every single day. It's like a big hug.
Are all British people this friendly?
Most of them.
Now, what is next for you?
There is a rather big thing coming. It's called the Mongol Rally. Basically, you drive from London to Mongolia in a crappy car. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks, and you raise money for charity whilst having an adventure.
You need to have a crappy car? Is it like a requirement?
One of the requirements is you have to have a crappy car, and you have to have some screws loose in your mind.
This is the official Mongol Rally headquarter warning for everyone who does the rally, which I have not read until right now. There are multiple things in this that make me think to myself that I should have read this many, many months ago. You will likely find yourself in situations that were not foreseen and which pose danger to your life. Your chance of being involved in any number of health and life-threatening situations is increased. You may end up in prison for several years or face very large fines if you have an accident. People have died, been disabled and lost their lives on the Mongol Rally. Please do not underestimate the risks involved in undertaking this kind of adventure. To cut a long story short, I am screwed.
Now, there's a little bit of a backstory to this. Last year, I did the Mongol Rally, but unfortunately, 8 days into the trip, we crashed in Romania and nearly died in Romania. We were fortunate we didn't, obviously, because I'm here. We weren't going to allow the failure of last year to stop us, and we were going to go and do the Mongol Rally again. It starts on July 14th. It's going to take us a month. We're going to go through 17 countries, including Russia, Ukraine, Moldova, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and all the stans, and end up in Mongolia.
Which was the craziest idea you may have come up with?
Solitary confinement.
And are you planning to do it?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find a prison that would take me.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
I hate those questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Oh, man. What I would like to do, and what I hopefully am doing, is inspiring people to live outside of their box through travel. By having my own adventures, if there is in some small way that someone can look at my adventure and think to themselves, well, if that chap can do it, then I can do it. You know? So I go out and I have these crazy adventures. I meet all these wonderful people. I have all these interesting experiences. And a byproduct of that is hopefully that someone sitting down in front of the TV screen thinks to themselves, if he can do it, I can do it. They take their box, they throw it over the edge, and they live their lives.
And is this why you use maybe the word nobody in your book? Because you wanted everybody basically to be able to put their name right next to the amazing adventures?
There's certainly an element of that. Also, at the time when I was doing this, you know, like I mentioned earlier, I felt depressed, I felt uninspired. Okay. So there was an element of feeling like a nobody, but there's also an element of an everyman aspect to it.
And is all this business sustainable?
I mean, look, it's not simple. I also run a production company. We distribute shows, so we create adventure travel shows. So that's one way that I sustain myself, and also through my book sales. But it's not a simple process. You know, you can't just get up and leave if you don't have the funding to be able to do that.
How expensive is it really to be an adventurer?
So I've travelled budget and I've travelled luxury. And sometimes when you travel luxury, you don't really connect with people and you don't have the kind of real local flavour that you get when you do it on a budget. So I believe that you don't need to have lots and lots of money in order to have these adventures. You have to have the spirit, you have to have the will, and you have to have the sense of adventure.
And is there ways that you can live maybe a daily adventure in your normal life in Los Angeles, New York, or Athens?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. Adventures don't have to be big. adventures can be small, and it can spice up your life, and it can infuse your soul with some joy. One of the things that I like doing, which I probably shouldn't admit, is when I'm feeling like I'm not in a great space. I have a friend who has a pool, and I go over to his house and I jump into the pool with all my clothes on. And by the time I finished that little escapade, I feel, joy has returned to my life. And it's like little things that you can do like that can inspire this like sense of joy that we all have, but to a certain degree have pushed down.
How connected are you really with Greece now?
I'm very connected to Greece. Both my parents are Greek. I grew up in London, yes, but I would go to Greece every summer. We had a house in Greece.
Is there an adventure or adventure show that you have thought to shoot in Greece, maybe?
I actually did a show in Greece. I did a show in Mykonos called Ultimate Daycation, where I spent 24 hours in a given city, which was Mykonos, from sunrise to sunrise, and experienced everything the city had to offer. For example, I probably shouldn't be admitting this either, but I'm going to do it. I dressed up as a drag queen. I went on to the nude beaches. I went partying. I DJ'd at the club Space. I had these amazing experiences. Again, all about living life to the fullest and experiencing the moment.